Hey everyone, this is David. No, no, no. It's another one of David's daily dishes. Guys, remember I said I was going to check in and give you little quick hits when something happened? I didn't realize we are going to be doing two of these in the first week of the year. But listen, we need to jump on here really quick and have an emergency chat about how the Trace Amigas has become a dos amigas. Before we get there, let me just say it has been brought to my attention that, our followers and subscribers and downloads have been so crazy this week. And I thought it really was because of our like 5 times shout out on the Real Housewives of Miami. Then I thought it was because, season 4 of Millionaire Matchmaker, which I had the pleasure of starring on alongside Miss Leah McSweeney, made it to Netflix. The power of Netflix. But I'm starting to think all my subscribers and downloads and this huge influx of listeners to this podcast this week in part has to do with the rat that scurries, otherwise known as Tam. Now, I am not going to listen to Tamra on her blog that she does with Teddy, but apparently Miss Tamra, has put my name in her mouth. Now listen to me. Remember how I said I'm never going to get into personal things again? I'm really not, because you know what? The key to life, guys, if you have your health, the key to life is having a clear mind. I'm not going tit for tat. You can say anything you want about me. Man, you can say you don't care, but the day you wake up, guys, for everyone out there, the best life advice I could give anyone is just don't care what anyone says about you. And it's so disheartening because I really wish I could instill that in all of you, but you either have it or you don't. And you could say you don't care, but trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me, for all of those of you who get upset, it's understandable. It's life when people are saying bad things about you. I promise you, the day you wake up and you no longer care is the first day of the rest of your life. So I'm not upset. I'm not mad. I want to thank Tamra, actually, because the numbers are way up. But apparently it's been brought to my attention. And then we're going to get into how Trace Amigas became Dos Amigas. This is a quick hit, guys. We're going to cover this in detail with Sarah Fraser, Melissa Rivers, Rachel You could tell. But apparently the rat that scurries was upset that I was featured on Miami Housewives. She's a little jealous, that rat. And it reminded her because I was featured on Miami Housewives with my good friend Anna Concoses. Apparently, it reminded Tamara of the time that my good friend Anna tried to get Tamara on this podcast. Tamara was on this podcast. She got worldwide global press because she said the biggest mistake that Bravo ever made was letting Heather Dubrow go. Well, when you come on Behind the Velvet Rope podcast and you say something, we blow it up. That's what we do. We have a great media team. We have a great PR team. And she was very upset because the media used a headline, um, Heather Dubrow fired. Well, Tamara, you said the biggest mistake Bravo ever made on the Behind the Velvet Rope podcast was letting Heather Dubrow go. And then the headline is Heather Dubrow was fired. Now, Tamara, it's not that, I mean, I don't work for People. I don't work for Daily Mail. I didn't come up with those headlines. But girl, they're not that big a stretch. You said the biggest mistake Bravo ever made was letting Heather Dubrow go. And then the headline was Heather Dubrow is fired. That's not that big a jump, girl. Like, I mean, surely you can understand how these headlines were created. But anyway, she was upset. And then Anna, because, like my friends are always like, oh, you should do David's podcast. So Anna was like, oh, you should do David's podcast. That never happened because I was too busy and there was a scheduling conflict. But Tamara is now saying something like, oh, I'll never go back on his podcast again. He calls me TamRat. Girl, you are literally turning down an invite that came 2 years ago. So for Tamara to allude that, like, I just asked her to come on this podcast and she's turning it down. Listen, those of you that are listening to me now that love me, there's a lot of you. Those of you that are listening to me right now that hate me, there's a lot of you too. The one thing my lovers and my haters can agree on, I'm not stupid. You can call me a lot of things. You guys know that my IQ is through the roof and I'm really smart. Do you think the day that I decided to triple down and talk about TamRat and we have a rat amongst us that scurries, that I actually thought you would ever come on this podcast again? I'm not an idiot, girl. Like the day that I decide that you're on my like, I just don't give a shit list is really the day that I never want you back on this podcast again. So it's great that she's responding on her podcast or blog or whatever it is to like an invite that literally came about a year and a half ago. Girl, you're not dumb. You know what you're doing? You're lying to the people again. We have not, no one's asked you to be on this podcast anytime in the past year and a half, girl. We don't want you. So that's it. I'm not upset because I don't get upset about these things, but I just figured I would, it's been brought to my attention, excuse me, that she put my name in her mouth. So I'm just saying, like, come on, girl. But she is a rat. She is a rat that scurries because now we have the Trace Amigas have become Dos Amigas. Everyone wants to know what I think about this. And by the way, when I clap back at someone like that, I'm objective when I give my opinion. So maybe I'm on Tamara's side in this. I'm not, but it's possible, you know? Listen to me. Listen to me. I mean, this is what we know, and this is a developing story. So we're going to be covering this in detail. But basically, this is what we have. We have Tres Amigas. We all know that that's Shannon and Vicky and Tamara, and they did a little mini tour at the end of last year, and now they're going back out on tour. Well, it turns out the rat that scurries, otherwise known as Tam, has fucked over her once friends, Vicky and Shannon, and has decided to pull out of this tour. Why? Well, it's a developing story, but we all know that, you know, see, here's the thing about Tamara, and I'm being really serious. I'm not coming for her. She has no fucking soul. So that's the thing. And I reached out to Victoria Gunvalson this morning to try to explain this to her. But Tamara has no soul. So she is just going to go where the biggest piece of cheese is, right? Like you're back on the show, girl. So she doesn't care. So she sees that having Alexis back could be good for the show. Now, I'm not convinced Alexis is coming back. I think it makes sense. I'm all for Alexis coming back. But you guys really have to dig deep and think. Once Alexis is back and we deal with John Jansen and Shannon, there has to be a lot more to Alexis as a housewife and a lot more to her story than the first two episodes, because we already had that last season of Tamara riding down the highway with a motorcycle and the return of the bitch is back and she takes off the helmet. We have to be able to sustain a whole season, right? So I'm not convinced Alexis coming back is the answer that's going to save OC Housewives, which is in the toilet, minus Heather Dubrow, because watching her lifestyle is so. Heather and I have a very good friend in common, Jenny Hutt. She went to high school with her. Love Miss Jenny Hutt, love Miss Heather. But I think Alexis might be back. I'm not convinced she will be back. But regardless, here's Tamara kissing up to her at BravoCon. I'm sorry. This is completely wrong. It is so your good friend, supposedly, you know, Shannon, has basically the love of her life, John. She says it's her kryptonite. I did a show recently. Is Shannon Bedore okay? I'm not convinced Shannon Bedore is okay. I'm not convinced that it's light and fluffy and, oh, John Jansen, I don't care. That's what Shannon says. I don't buy it. Like, it takes a long time to get over someone. And when you do, you do. But this breaks girl code, boy code, dog code, they, them code, everything code, all of the above, that you're basically kissing up to Alexis and making amends with her at BravoCon. I mean, you can be cordial and say hi, but that is a betrayal. I mean, it's not okay. It's okay that Alexis goes and, you know, fucks John Jansen and she says it's the love of her life and gets a promise ring that maybe she bought herself and is saying it's my Johnny J. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Love knows no bounds, and you can't keep two people away from each other. And if Alexis really has fallen for John and John has really fallen for Alexis, which there's a lot of reallys in there, fine. Alexis was never best friends with Shannon, but as one of her Tres Amigas, good friend, I mean, should you really be doing this to Shannon? I think it breaks all of the above codes. And I really do think that this is Tamara's way of punishing Shannon for when Tamara was fired and Shannon was still on the show and Shannon, I guess, stopped talking to her. Man, these are all fake friends, but it's not right. So she has this falling out with Shannon that for whatever reason, she's not going on tour anymore with them. She's now doing a tour with Teddy. which we'll get into, not a tour, one date, which I've done live shows. Sarah and I have been asked to do a series of live shows this year. Do you guys want us to do a bunch of live shows? I have really, really, really mixed feelings about doing a live show. But we've been asked to do a mini tour in like Philly, New York, and DC because Miss Sarah Fraser claims that she's big in DC. More on that soon. We'll put a pin in that. But regardless of that, regardless of that, so Tamara backs out. She's doing this thing with Teddy now, and it's all because her and Shannon are at odds, and Shannon's not is upset with her, rightfully so, for befriending Alexis. And so there is this fallout. Now, also, can I just say, I mean, Tamara is hawking these tickets. I just want to do it 1 second on this. Could go to the show, go to the show. I don't know how. This is a mini BravoCon reunion. How is it that no one wants to go see these two twats? Tamara and Teddy and the two husbands, and now we got Emily Simpson in there and Angie K. She still can't, and Cynthia Bailey. You still can't sell tickets, girl. Call me because I mean, my show, last live show I did, sold out pretty well, girl. But regardless, so she did this. So it's really getting ugly between Tamara and Vicky now. And Shannon, but really Tamara and Vicky is the shocking thing that we're just shocked at. So she backed out, falling out. I'll get more into what I told Vicky this morning when I reached out to her. So I don't know if Shannon's okay. I think it's wrong to do. It's not the right girl code, but and by the way, this is work. So even if you and Shannon are not getting along, suck it up. Like, believe it or not, you might think of certain names of people that I would never want to be associated with again. And you're probably right when you come up with those names. I don't know. Put the right amount of money in front of me. And I mean, I could work with almost anyone that's fucked me over because it's work. I clock in, I work, I leave. I don't know why Cole couldn't work this out. But anyway, Vicky is upset at this because she feels that it is a betrayal. It's hurting the tour. The girls are going to be just fine. Vicky and Shannon going out on their own now. And by the way, again, lots more detail when I'm with Melissa Rivers for an hour and I'm with, Sarah, and we'll go on Patreon, just David. So we're just going to talk about this a lot more, guys. But you want the quick hits? Here it is. We're jumping on a Sunday. So people are on Vicky's page saying things like, don't be upset. We're sorry your friend fucked you over. And Vicky is commenting. So it's not like this is like we all have this out of context. Vicky is commenting like someone on the page, I forgot who, and I wish I can give them a shout out, said, watching Tamara's disloyalty towards you, it's so cringe. Vicky responds, yup, that's correct. So I mean, it's bad. Um, what else did I want to say about how the Trace Amigas became Dos? Here's the thing about Vicky. Do I think her time in Housewives is probably over? Probably. Is Vicky deep down? Like, I truly believe this, that deep down, I truly believe Tamra is so insecure. She's mad about me calling her TamRat. And apparently Teddy was like, oh, he calls you TamRat. I never knew people called you TamRat. I don't know where you've been, Teddy. But anyway, yeah. So I believe deep down Tamara has a black soul. I really, truly do. I'm not trying to be mean to her just because she put my name in her mouth. It's just really Tamara will fuck anyone over. And the thing about Vicky is she can be exhausting. I don't think she's really on brand for where the OC is right now, but Vicky is a kind, gentle soul. She really is. She's authentically Vicky. She's the OG. When she's getting that award, the Lifetime Achievement, where you could see her tearing up. This means a lot to her. She really believes that, don't we want to see respectful businesswomen on our TVs? No, we don't. We want to see Monica Garcia being revealed as reality Von Teese. But Vicky has a kind heart. She really does. She really does. So I imagine Vicky is really hurt by this. This really is, you guys have been down this road before. And when I reached out to Miss Victoria Gunvalson, my advice is listen, people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Tamra was a reason. She was more than a season. She's not a lifetime. Vicky, It's not you, okay? Call it. Call it. You've tried this before. Shannon, you've tried this before. Enough. Let the cage bird. I mean, apparently she wants to replace Shannon and Vicky with Emily Simpson and Teddy. Let her go do it. Let her go fly. I mean, I don't even know. Do we talk about this at great length like we're about to with Sarah later this week and myself on Patreon? Because don't take her back. Don't, it's enough already. I mean, life is so simple, you guys. It's so, so simple. You don't lose fake friends. A real friend cannot be lost. So to me, if it were me, that is it. This is over. Call it. No more. We've been down this road before. If a friend did this to me, that would be it. You don't take people back when they come with their apologies and their sorries. It's just going to be more of the same. I'm being really serious. I have no horse in this race. Just Vicky, move on. You just move on. It's enough already. Have some self. It's shocking. I understand when you're in your 60s and you realize this is like a 20-year friendship. What has this been on for how long has Tamara been on the thing? 17 seasons, 16, whatever it is. This is a 15 plus year friendship. It's really hard, but not really. Someone did you wrong. It's over. It's over. So my fear is that the kind, gentle soul that is truly within Victoria Gunvalson is going to take her back, but I wouldn't. We're not there yet, though, guys. It's pretty ugly. So we got to go fast, guys. This is not an episode. This is just a quick hit. Come on. So Vicky's not a malicious person. She is weighing in on people's comments. So go comment. She is saying, yeah, my friend fucked me over. Um, Tamra is then saying things like Tamra did a post, my friend, my soulmate, my sister, my ass. So both women are doubling down. They have both unfollowed each other for everyone who wants a synopsis. Tamra's unfollowed Vicky. Vicky's unfollowed Tamra. I think this is it. Now, I can't believe I'm uttering these words. I've had my own issues with her. Kelly Dodd slammed me earlier this year. She got really mad at me because I had Megan King Edmonds on my podcast. Go listen to my podcast with Megan King Edmonds. And again, just like when Tamara got mad at herself for what she said on Behind the Velvet Rope and she went viral, Megan King said some things about Kelly Dodd. Kelly Dodd slammed me. Bitch, I didn't say the fucking things. Why are you mad at me? I don't give a fuck. I really don't. The check cleared regardless. So, not my problem. Call Megan, call a therapist. I didn't say the shit about you. I can't believe I'm saying this. I agree with Kelly Dodd. Kelly Dodd has entered the conversation. Now, granted, Kelly's also thirsty for her own viral moment, but Kelly has commented on Vicky's page and said, I would sue TamRat. First of all, Kelly, thank you for calling her TamRat. I mean, apparently Kelly and I are the only two that call her TamRat. I even responded on the page to Kelly. I would sue too. She said, you guys put an LLC, had future gigs lined up. TamRat is diabolical, and that's why they love her at Bravo. They did you a favor for not having you back. God's rejection is God's protection. Love you. See you in Mexico. I can't wait. I can't believe I'm saying this. I agree with Kelly. This is why I never stay mad at Kelly. I never stay mad at anyone. I'm not even mad at TamRat for, trashing me on her blog. But I agree. I always agree with Kelly. I agree with a lot of things Kelly said, which is why I can't really stay mad at her. But she's right. Go ahead and sue. But so she's waited. Now, granted, she also wants to be the third Trace Amigas, and she has visions of grandeur at her own head. Listen, stranger things have happened. Could I see Kelly going on tour with Shannon and Vicky? It's not a bad idea, Vicky and Shannon. It's not a bad idea. It kind of works. It kind of works. Kelly live is unfiltered. You know, consider the Dodd. It's not the worst thing in the world, to be honest with you. She has her own podcast. She would like promote it, whatever. So that's that. Tamra, because this all happened yesterday, by the way. January 6th, the same day the Capitol was stormed. We all know Teddy implied that Vicky was there to try to, protest when, Mr. Trump was voted out of office. So Tamara has now said, yeah, January 6th is not a good day for her. So Tamara is now implying, yeah, Vicky was at the Capitol. It's January 6th. We have problems on that day for her. It is kind of crazy this happened on January 6th. So Tamara's getting really shady. Vicky is now speaking out again on social media and saying that Tamara unfollowed her because Vicky called her out on her loyalty. So Vicky called Tamara out and said, hey, this isn't right. You did this to your friend Shannon, right? Like, it's not a nice thing to do. Really, really, really. You don't go and date your ex, your best friend's ex, and you don't go and befriend the person who is dating your friend's ex, not when it's a day old. Listen to me. I mean, if I'm going to go and date one of my friends' exes in 5 years, I would still have a conversation with my ex. Probably okay. I mean, with my friend, probably okay. Salt is not on the wound. It's been a minute. So befriending Alexis, it is a shitty thing to do. Alexis did nothing wrong. She wasn't friends with Shannon. Oh man, I'm riled up, you guys. Um, then here before we go, so after Vicky said you she unfollowed and Tamara's referring to January 6th, Tamara's keep going. She said, I felt like I just took the biggest dump of my life. So refreshed, so relieved. Apparently she's relieved that she's done with Shannon and done with Vicky. Whew. The Tres Amigas have become Dos Amigas, guys. This is a big moment. This is a big day. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm shocked, but I'm not, but I'm shocked. I'm more shocked than I was about Scandal and, Kyle hanging out with Morgan Wade. Those rumors for years about Mauricio, guys, years. I don't know if they're true. What do I know? The Tres Amigas have become Dos. There we go. We're going to talk about it ad nauseum over, just David on Patreon, Sarah Fraser, Rachel you could tell, everyone else. Let's call Catherine Edwards. Let's get her back on. Where's Allison Dubois? Where's Anna Kinkose? Should we have Anna back on? I mean, we just were on Miami with her. We have so much going on. But there you go. Do you love the quick hits of David's Daily Dish? That's what we call this. I didn't realize we were going to do two of these in the first week. Had to jump on. Everyone's been asking me to address this. We will talk about it in more detail. Hey, we shared an old episode earlier today with Bob, the drag queen. Bob is on tour with Madonna, and Bob is killing it. Bob is like a huge role in the Madonna show. So go and listen to our chat with Bob yesterday on Patreon. Everyone wants my deep thoughts, every nuanced thought about Monica being reality Von Teese. Guess what? I did that yesterday on Patreon. Go sign up for our Patreon. What are you waiting for? I mean, what are you waiting for? Only $14 a month. Yeah, it's only $14 a month. Love you all. Tomorrow, ooh, we have a good episode tomorrow, but listen to all these old ones today, Bob, and go to Patreon. I'll talk all about Monica. What do you think about this? What are your thoughts on the Tres Amigas becoming Dos? Way overdue, or we're going to miss the girls together? All right. Love you all. Hope you're having a great Sunday. I'm in LA. I want to stay home and work all day. My boys want me to go for a Sunday fun day in WeHo, and I'm going. I'm trying to say yes to things more, right? Because I just want to stay here and talk to you guys all day. I really do. No joke. And I just want to stay in. I have a great view of the Hollywood sign from my apartment. I don't want to go out, but hence I'm going out for a Sunday fun day. And WeHo with the boys. Anyone in WeHo today, come out, say hi. Love you all. Let's break this down. I hope you're having a great Sunday and enjoy. Mwah.